So I'm not going to say who sent it to me because I asked him if I can disclose where this information came from. Um, and he did not tell me yet if I can say who the information came from. Now, I do know that he has agency contacts. I do know a lot of the stuff that they have been saying, and I don't agree with everything, and some of it I couldn't find um, supporting evidence. But so we were talking about, our theories on Charlie Kirk.
Yep.
So we were talking about the gallium and such, and
Before you said, did you see Candace Owens' podcast today?
I did not. I've been so fucking busy today.
So I didn't watch it, but I saw a clip on X where she said that she said, I guess she had been hearing rumors, but she didn't want to say anything until she was able to no bullshit 100% confirm it. And she did finally confirm it with like no ifs, ands, like whatever about it, that there was 12, not like VPN routed, but like 12 Israeli cell phones in the area on UVU campus on the September 10th.
Well, this individual that we're back and forth between, I looked at some of his stuff, and there is some things that I did see that I was like, that is very interesting. And there's a couple other people I want to talk to about it that I haven't had a chance to, but okay, so I sent him the videos, and we talked a little bit about the gallium theory and the alternate alloy theory. So he says, a very interesting theory. I cannot rule that out. It could be plausible. He said there were multiple shots that day, actually, but if the autopsy is not completely fake, which at this point I'm having a hard time believing it's not, then something has to account for a fragment of a projectile still being inside of Charlie. I believe the main kill shot was from the right of Charlie and went through to the left, but there was a second round fired from Charlie's left side, possibly a palm gun, which was intentionally done to cause confusion. The round from the left of Charlie could have been a gallium bullet. Okay. So remember, originally I said that I thought he was shot from the rear, and then starting to look into other things, all of that. So then I said, so I have a question. Why do you feel there were multiple shots? I'm not opposed to saying there were not, but with my background, I did not come to that conclusion the least bit. But do I feel that if the 30-06 was fired, it could have been with a blank? And I can't say for certain by the sound of hearing a heavy load blank and a live round fired over video, because they are indistinguishable. Also, do you feel he was struck by multiple rounds? I said, did the alleged rifle fire? I said, possibly, but not at Charlie. Was a different firearm used for the assassination? Also, almost certainly. Was it one of the old alternate alloys that I discussed? Very possible. I think one of the biggest problems here are the facts that we're not getting true and accurate intel on the event. Now, the question is, who were they covering for? And I think we can assume who. I am truly trying to get other people's opinion. Yeah, so I talked a little bit about my was shot from the rear right side. I'm not going to go into all that. It gets long. So then he goes, there were at least 3 shots. Sound analysts confirm multiple shots near simultaneously, just microseconds apart. Now, here's my thought on that. So if one shot was made with the 30-06 and it was a blank, depending on what tracking and software they could have used. It could have been based off of a
The
sound.
reverb.
Yeah, the reverb. So the 30-06, the reason a 30-06 on a heavy load would have been used it would have been so overwhelming over the additional round or rounds that were fired.
The the spring loaded whatever that fired the gallium bullet, it would have, the blank would have covered
it,
that sound easily.
you 100%. So that's if it was with
With the
a pneumatic or spring
yeah,
spring
the
firing or
reverb
some sort of kinetic.
would have covered that sound so easily. Yeah.
Yes, yes. So there's that, and then depending on the setup of whatever technology they were using on the sound of the crack, it could have automatically fired at the point of percussion. Okay, so he said the main shooter fired from Charlie's right to the left with some sort of sniper rifle or sniper drone, most likely by the gray van. There is evidence of an entry wound on the right side of his neck we found, as well as also proving that, as well as I captured 3 separate frames of the bullet midair from that direction and got the trajectory. So my problem with that is, okay, the frames per second picking up a round through the air. Is it possible? Yes.
It's extremely hard though.
Yeah. Is it possible?
You would have to have,
Yes.
I mean, it's possible, but you would have to have it in order to pick up something in a frame. Like, so yes, it is possible, but you would have to have an insanely high quality action camera in order to pick it up in a frame.
Yeah.
But
And here's
you're talking with a phone doing that, and that's why it's highly unlikely.
unlikely. Yeah. And here's the thing, at the velocity of a round, you remember on the ghost hunter shows, whenever they see these, fragmentation,
Dust. Yeah.
orbs or whatever, and then they see bug flying through the air or whatever, and it's got a tracer. So that's my thing.
I'm not doubting this guy. I'm saying he might have gotten lucky, with the camera on the phone, or whatever. I'm just saying this is highly unlikely given it was a phone camera.
Yes, and see, that's where I'm like, I'm playing the devil's advocate here. Is it possible? Yeah. Is it plausible? Yes. But
you'd have to have a camera that does like 10,000 frames per second.
So, and I looked at some of the stuff, and the thing is you don't see any tracers from. It's not a line. It looks like a little rectangle in the air. And my problem with that is it's just, it's too hard. It's too hard to get it that perfect. Okay, so there was a second shot in the front which hit him center mass in his chest. We showed the exact time and place it hit, as well as you were able to see the hole in his shirt from the bullet, most likely a palm gun guy. Lastly, there was a third shot from directly behind Charlie from inside the tent, and the top of the tent gap where the side of the logo meets the roof. Well, here's my problem with that. That canopy was one piece. There was no gap from around the bottom of the canopy. So, and they would have had that backdrop overlaid. So they wouldn't have stopped that back canopy and had a gap. It would have looked fucking chintzy. It would have looked like shit. They would have gone all the way to the top, and you wouldn't be able to see the back side of that canopy hanging down on that 8-inch lip or whatever it is. So that's my problem with that. So someone wouldn't be able to shoot through that, or through a gap in that.
But he's saying he's broken all this down, right?
Yeah, so I didn't see all of it. there was only so much fucking I had time to fucking look into. Like, I was looking at the frame by frame. I was looking at the infrared shit. You know, so I was looking at a lot of it. I was looking at some of the different stuff. Some of it could it be I don't know. Look, I'm glad they're looking into it, and I'm glad that they're looking into every bit of evidence they can, because that's the only way that we're all going to come together and figure out what the truth is. Because obviously, fuckhead Patel isn't going to tell us. But like, I don't know. Lastly, there's a third shot from directly behind Charlie from it. Inside the tent, from the top of the tent gap where the side of the logo meets the roof. So he's saying that it's like there was a round shot from inside the tent that was like mounted up there. Here I also captured 3 projectiles in a row showing a trajectory. I also captured a shell casing flying up inside the tent and hitting the top of it. This one, I do not believe actually hit Charlie, though. I believe this one was a miss. Israel is known to create multiple diversions and use patsies, etc., to hide what really happened. So, but look, we saw him hit. It didn't look like he was hit from fucking 3 to 4 fucking angles.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I would have been the first to say he was hit by multiple fucking sides. My first thought was, if anything, he was hit from the rear, his back right side. But just think, you put 3 to 4 rounds in soft matter that's this fucking big. Like, I got a big neck. You know what I mean? Like, I can't even get my fingers all the way around my neck. So, Charlie, let's say his neck's as big as mine is, and you put 2 to 3 rounds in something like this, you're essentially going to decapitate. And another thing is, you're going to have blood spraying from every direction. Yeah. We all saw how much blood came out from the front. Like, that's why I'm like, I lean towards the gallium theory on he got shot from the low front somewhere on some sort of kinetic round, or, fucking Israel does have the fucking, they've got the AR drone, they've got the sniper drone. So hypothetically, yeah, it could be something like that. And that could be pneumatic. Which possibly, but I don't know, like, the camera artifacts, to me, it doesn't look like different trajectories, and it doesn't look like different rounds floating through the air, especially at the frames per second of a phone, which I want to talk to him more and be, back and forth with him a little bit more and figure out, just because I do know he's got a good agency contact that I don't know if it was hold on, let me think of how I'm going to say this properly. Do you know the difference between a operator and an agent in the agency?
Yeah.
Okay. So I don't know if his agency contact was an agent or not. So that's what I don't know. So was it someone that was not part of CIA, and he was either, like I said, an agent? He was recruited by an op, and he was used for whatever. I don't know. I don't know his background. Or was he a contractor? Or was he, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know what level he was in the agency, but when his agency contact was talking about some things, I said, okay, that's legit. Like, that's very legit. Like, his agency contact was talking a lot about the Mossad drones, the sniper drones, and that, they're using those drones in Gaza. Also in Ukraine, you know what I mean? Like they're using a lot of them in Ukraine right now. So I don't know. Like I would like to find more about their background and figure out why they're saying some of this and where they're coming to some of these theories and all that. And hopefully it's not just knee-jerk reactions. But you know, here's my plus side for this: the fact that a lot of us that are coming together as anarchists
Hmm.
and looking for fucking answers, that's what we fucking need, man. Like the more people we can get out there to looking into this shit and just say it smells fishy, you know, where's the fish? Like something's not right. Either, you know, close your legs or find the trout. One of the two. So, yeah, I don't know. What do you think?
I think we're never gonna know the truth.
Yeah, I fear that.